Wow, so we got quite the surprise today. We have brand new footage to go over, including what is called the Fire Witch, which is going to be a nuke-based build. You can see the new footage right here, and this looks freaking sweet. We're going to go over exactly what's going on in this footage because they actually showcase some really cool stuff in this ultimate build guide, including a new armor set and new legendary gear and loot dedicated to this Fire Witch. So we're going to talk about that. Also, some new replies from People Can Fly about what is going on with DLC. We have Outriders DLC will add new elements rather than things that should have been in the game to begin with. So this is a really insightful article right here. So tons to talk about in this game, including the current state of multiplayer and what they're doing to address that as well. So hey everyone, what's happening? Overworld Games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's do this. All right, so first of all, let's go to this nuke-based build. It says, introducing the Fire Witch, a devastating Pyromancer nuke-based build that relies on you weaving skills together to maximize its effectiveness. It says, Ultimate Loadout Week has officially begun running every day until March 26th, by the way. So this is the beginning of basically where they highlight loadouts, legendary gear, and yeah, basically put a name on it. In this case, the Fire Witch. So we're going to talk about what is going on right now in the new gameplay footage. Let's play that new gameplay footage right now, shall we? So as you can see, the clip begins with the epic Outriders logo, and I cannot wait to play on these new biomes, by the way. But we're going to finally get into the gear and the abilities in just a moment as we get further on in here. Of course, you're going to have a lot to mess around with, but this one's going to be dedicated to the Fire Witch, which you can see here we have the Boots of the Reforged, and it says with the mods we have Power Assimilation, which boasts your anomaly power by 639 for each elite present on the battlefield. That sounds pretty powerful. It says Pompeii, the skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown, and it's called Eruption as well. And they highlight these skills in gameplay as we keep going. Now, if we go back, they go through these very quickly. We have the lower robe of the Lava Lich, and this is going to be giving you anomaly power of 485, status power of 22.1%, and then skills life leech, which is 3.5%. Now, it says it has improved damage with Eruption, which increases explosion damage as well as size matters. And it says Phaser Beam increases the beam's radius by 100%. Now you can see this is a set. You'll notice it says Lava Lich right there, and 4 out of 3 pieces are equipped, and it increases damage of Eruption by 40% and decreases its cooldown by 10% once you get all of the armor equipped together. Furthermore, let's keep going on here, and we have the Inferno Seed Assault Rifle Tactical Variation, and it looks absolutely beastful. It does have some mods attached to it as well, the Wrath of Moloch, and this is so blurry, by the way. I wish they would up the actual quality of their footage here, but if we zoom in a little bit, we could see that it says critical hits cause an explosion, dealing damage and inflicting burn on enemies within a 3 meter radius. So that's really cool. It has this area effect damage to it, and it says ultimate bone shrapnel, critical shots detonate the enemies bodies and turning them into shrapnel that deals damage as well, and also inflicts bleed damage as that shrapnel heads out on the field. That sounds really impressive and also super deadly. So yeah, you know, remember that a lot of people are saying right now the Pyromancer is actually underwhelming in the demo. People Can Fly have warned, don't sleep on the Pyromancer. We got some really cool stuff to showcase, and they're showcasing teases right here. Now, let's continue the new footage, shall we? We're going to zoom in on this for you guys. But we have the Charms of the Lava Lich, and it says Etna as one of the mods. It says Eruption, the skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown, and Pure Power, which is going to be Phaser Beam, increase the skill's damage by 1452, and of course you get those set bonuses as well on this piece of armor. Seems really powerful And I love the look of the armor, by the way. If we rewind it, we can go to the helmet as well. Now, this is going to be cool. We have frequent phaser. It reduces the skill's cooldown by 30%. And that's going to be for the phaser beam. And then it has magma coat, which is going to be for eruption. And that increases the lava's damage over time by 968 damage right there. So that is quite a bit. I'm curious to see how this armor is going to stack up in World Tier 15, by the way. You're going to want the best of the best headed into those world tiers. But yeah, the new footage looks really impressive, by the way. It says, here is the upper robe of Lava Lynch and excuse me, and it says detonator, overheat, it decreases this skill's cooldown by 50%, and Siga boost, which is for eruption, and that's going to increase the skill's radius by 100%. And you could see how amazing this armor would be stacking together and how beastly it would actually be once you are on the field. So once again, don't be sleeping on the Pyromancer. That is for sure. And yeah, so far some really impressive stuff highlighted in their ultimate loadout showcase, which is going to be running up until March 26th. They're going to be starting with the Fire Witch, it seems, and we might be getting actually more details about that. Now, we've had some questions about this loadout showcase as well. Dad says this, so are you saying that we'll have loadouts on release? Now, Outriders did reply and say, this is an example build that some of our own team like to play with. You can create your own builds and modifications in order to personalize your Outriders experience. So there is the reply right there. Now, they did further say this, loadouts are not currently planned right now for Outriders. That was one of the biggest questions from A Beard is saying. I think the question is, will you be able to save loadouts for your character to be able to switch on the fly? And that is currently not in the plans. That could change if that's something you guys really, really want, because again, People Can Fly seems to be really in tune to what is going on with this game. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the future of Outriders, shall we? We're going to talk about that DLC. So let's highlight that right now. Outriders DLC will add new elements rather than things that should have been in the game to begin with, and People Can Fly are really flexing, I guess you would say, right now. They say this, People Can Fly are focused on releasing a complete package rather than chopping stuff out and releasing it as post-launch content. This article goes on to say post-launch support for games is never a bad thing, but all too often it comes at a cost. There's been quite a few instances of publishers and developers choosing to cut content and features out of a game and then releasing it as DLC following the game's release, which of course is the worst. Now, People Can Fly have been adamant that their upcoming RPG shooter is not a live service game that is going to be a complete package at launch. But what does that mean for post-launch support, if there is any? During a recent group interview with the game director Bartek Kamate and lead game designer Petor Nowalski that Gaming Bolt sat in on, the developers of Outriders said that any content they release for the game following its launch will be in response to fan feedback and things that players might want to play, and that rather than releasing things that should have been in the game at launch as post-release expansions, any and all DLC will be purely additive. This is the quote right here. It says, in general, our goal was to deliver the complete package for the release, and when talking about the things that may come later, it really depends on the player. So how they will react, if they will be interested, if we will build a huge player base. We have ideas, of course, but for now, there was nothing we can promise and say we are doing things that will come. So if people are interested, we have some ideas how to develop it, but it's more like adding new elements than adding the things that are missing from the game that we have right now. That is freaking awesome to hear for sure. Now, also, you guys may remember in a previous video, the most recent video that I've done for Outriders, they said that it could potentially be possible that they would consider adding a battle pass, but they're going to be extremely careful and cautious about that, and they want to get player feedback. From what you guys said in response to my recent video, it seems like you guys just want one type of expansion. You pay for it, you're done, you get your expansion, whether it's big or small, and you're good to go. You don't really want a battle pass for Outriders. So it's going to be interesting to see if they are going to be listening to player feedback in that regard. Now, also, there's been some multiplayer hiccups going on right now with the connection for, the servers for Outriders. At least, I'm not too sure if it affects everyone. Let me know if you're having any lag issues, especially if you join a friend's game. And, I've had my bro Ryan complain about this, and we live like 5 minutes from each other. Now, this is what Outriders had to say about that. They say, we are aware that over the weekend, players may have run into troubles connecting to one another in co-op. We are investigating this matter and hope to provide news soon. So they are on it. They are aware of it, and hopefully they can fine-tune the matchmaking experience going forward. Overall, the experience was nice when I've played co-op so far, and you can again play this game as a single-player experience, but I think it's really going to be a great co-operative experience for the most part. All right, so let's keep going. We have this thread right here. This goes to People Can Fly. It says request on Xbox and basically all platforms as well. It says, please ask dev team to change mark button in general inventory to a single quick tap of Y instead of clicking the right stick. This is bad for the controller, and single Y has no use in that scenario. Also, the hip fire reticle, please add options to change or make it more visible. Tiny white dot gets lost easily in mini backgrounds in HDR. Thanks for your consideration. We have a reply from People Can Fly. They go on to say this about the marking functionality. They say, unfortunately, we're not able to swap the mapping of buttons due to technical complexities. This is actually something that we've been looking at since our initial insider test in December, where we first received this feedback. However, the full game is intended to have a quality of life upgrade here that will make sure you won't need to break your thumb or your R3 stick marking items over and over again. More on this and other main game changes in the dev update I'm compiling for Thursday. So there's a new dev update coming up here on Thursday with those details. So I will have that for you guys, of course. So stay tuned for that as well. All right. Now, you can also check the current state of multiplayer right here. As you can see, you just go to the website status.outriders.net and you get an idea of what is going on. They give an update, and you can also do this on your phone if you are on the go, and you can see how it reports partial outage right here. So this is super helpful, and I think it's going to be a great tool for the future of the game for sure. All right, now it's that time again. It's time for your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So let's do this. This was my last Outriders video I did right here. Outriders gets excellent news. Developers also working on a new next-gen AAA title, by the way. That is super exciting that People Can Fly is actually working on something other than Outriders. It's going to be, I think, their New York-based studio that's going to be working on that AAA action-adventure game. We have no idea what exactly that's going to be, but apparently they've been working on it for a little bit now. Now let's get into the top comments from you guys. So Prime DM says this: I hope everyone is doing great. And Dual MP5 says, you know that the devs are confident in their game if they release a demo and continue to update it. I honestly think some other developers might pay attention to this strategy and do this because this is so smart. They get to test out how the game is running, how their updates are affecting the community, if they're causing more problems, less problems, and really fine-tune the experience in this, smaller size, I guess you would say, of an audience before they go full on launching the game. So I think it's extremely, extremely smart. Now let's move on here. Joey says 100 hours in, and spanking the monkey on this game. Okay, he says Ryan Osborne says buying expansions would be the way to go for Outriders. I feel so that a lot of you guys feel that way. Andrew says bring back the good old days of gaming where we got full expansions and not battle passes. Please, I want my childhood back. Nathan says I seriously have not played a demo this much in my life. Cannot wait. KB also agrees, saying I played this demo more than full games at the moment. I hope they keep legendary guns rare. It reminds me of Destiny when it first released. Yeah, I totally agree because, part of the experience is actually seeing that gold legendary plop out of whatever enemy you killed and getting that reaction of excitement, you know. It's not going to be exciting if it's constant legendaries dropping. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I imagine that they would potentially adjust the loot based on player feedback. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. That's the latest happenings around Outriders. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, don't sleep on the Pyromancer. Apparently, he's going to be freaking awesome. Stay tuned for more Outriders news updates, and I will see you all next time. Take care.